It's time. Time to get back to what we've always stood for. We acknowledge the past, but today we focus on the future. We are Essendon.
The skipper's done it.
All day for the black and red of the MCG.
Kicking of the Essendon midfielders into their forward fix has been outstanding.
So 4 goals last week, 2 already. It's coming back. He's kicked his third. Fantasia has made a terrific start to this season. And this term has absolutely been dominated by Essendon. And that is the last 8 goals of the game lead.
Scotty, there are a few momentum swings against the Lions, but let's start with the positives. What impressed you most?
Oh, look, it was a great win by the boys in stance 250th in the end, but they had to work very hard for it. Certainly started the game very even early on. I thought the defenders very good at defending the high ball. Brisbane were getting a lot of inside 50s deep, and the key backs in particular very good in the air. And around the ball, through that first half, their contested ball was excellent and really pivotal in them gaining a good lead at half-time. Disappointing they conceded a couple of goals in red time to finish that first half. And then we saw the Lions take over the game in the third quarter with centre square dominance. Martin was really pivotal in that. Their ground level players were able to get on top, and then they finished up forward. Then the last quarter, the swings, once again, the boys fought back really well. They squared it up through the midfield and were able to get some one-on-ones forward of the footy, and we saw the speed. So Fantasia was involved, McDonald, Tip and Woody got involved in the game, and we saw the consistency throughout the night where Hooker and Danaher were able to provide really good targets all night and give those ground level players a target. So all in all, good to walk away with the 4 points, because we did speak last week about the importance of winning those games you should if you want to figure in September.
So what do you think it says about the group that they were able to respond when they were headed in that last quarter interstate?
Well, certainly it's a sign that they had the run in their legs. It was a question going into the season how some of the players returning would go, getting through games week in, week out, having missed 12 months of football. So it says that they're in good shape. It also says that leadership across the ground was very good, that they were able to identify the areas they needed to work on and fix on the back of the third quarter, and they were able to do that. So all in all, very positive in that regard. They need to work on why it's happening though, and be able to counter it earlier, because we've seen them concede chunks of goals consecutively in games this year, and you want to get that out.
So what about some of the individuals who stood out to you throughout the game?
Oh, no doubt Zach Merritt started the game superbly once again, and a real key player. They sent Mitch Robinson to him to try and quell him. He worked through the game and was really pivotal throughout in providing a real link up with his play and his foot skills. Outstanding. Fantasia up forward, a dynamic player, very, very tough to match up on, and that's why he's getting good matchups, and opposition need good defenders to play on him. But he's been a significant goal kicker, which overall's been important, that they've got many different options up forward. Hard to counter, hard for opposition teams to lay off because you're not sure where the ball is going. And I thought Waller, when he pushed up the ground through the midfield in that second half, he gave a real spark to the team with his leg speed.
Is it a sign of a maturing group that they've had such a spread of contributors across the first 2 games?
It's really important. It becomes very difficult for opposition teams to plan against you when you're getting an even spread of contributors and you're not entirely sure who's going to bob up each week. We've seen that in the front half in particular, with multiple goal kickers from different sources each week. We saw Hep the first week, Fantasia consistent, the tall forwards are getting amongst it, and the ground level players are providing really good pressure. So there's a good mix up there, but also we're seeing the backline team really well together and being able to exit the back 50, get the ball through the corridor quite a bit, which has been very good.
So on the track this week, Scott, what are you working on with the team?
Oh, look, all in all, a really pleasing first 2 weeks. I think out of the game on the weekend that they'll be looking at their centre clearance work, just their setups around the stoppage also. Let's acknowledge, though, that Sean McKernan, he's been undersized so far. Steph Martin's a very good ruckman, so he'll certainly enjoy some more support from Leuenberger when he's available. And also, I just think when they've moved the ball through the corridor, great that they're taking the game on, but at times they've just gone through the corridor when perhaps they shouldn't have, so the decision itself. So just they'll work on their ball movement as well.
Scott, really appreciate your insights, mate. We'll see you for the Friday footy panel and also your preview ahead of that big clash against the Blues. Really appreciate it, mate.
Always a pleasure.